Hey guys, this is Sean McCauley with Cloud Defensive, and today we're going to talk about the REIN light. Specifically, we're going to talk about the tail cap and why we did things differently. We're going to go over the nomenclature, and we're going to talk about the proper installation. So stay tuned, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here, let's get the gun out of the way. And what you've got is you've got the REIN light. So when you first get out of the box and set it up, if you got the complete kit, you're going to see your remote attached to it. You're going to see your two side plates to that remote and the hardware. We'll cover that in a second. So the tail cap. It looks very different from what most other tail caps look like. We did this for a lot of reasons. Specifically for a weapon-based application, we did not want the cable exiting out the rear. Historically, that's been the case for the last 2 decades or more. That creates a lot of liabilities in the system. It's problematic and it's not optimal for the shooter, right? So we wanted this cable to exit out the side. And just to give you an idea here, we wanted the cable to exit inboard towards the rail, so that way you could mount your remote switch, house that cable, protect that cable, and reduce the chance of a cable failure. So that's why it looks different. Now, when you start to open it up, that's when it gets really different. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that part off. You're gonna take your cartridge out, and you're going to unscrew your tail cap body. So there's the tail cap and the pieces of it. So why did we do it like this? Well, a lot of reasons. First of all, let's go over nomenclature. So working from the back forward, this is the tail cap ring, okay? And this is the actual device that pushes the entire cartridge forward and creates electrical conductivity. And then you've got your tail cap body. You'll see that it's got 4 slots in it, and I'll explain what that's about. Obviously, you've got your tail cap cartridge. Some of them have the remote switch, some of them do not, and just based on the variant you choose, but they all look that way. And then you've obviously got the light body. So when it comes to the proper installation technique, the first thing you're going to do is make sure that your battery jack has been installed properly. We've already covered that in another video. This is rock solid, it's been tensioned and it's good to go, so now we can go ahead and install the tail cap. You're going to take your light body, and again, you've already adjusted your battery jack, so you are good to go there. And then you're going to take your tail cap body and you're going to screw that on. Now there's an O-ring here that keeps this thing waterproof, so as you tighten that down, you're going to feel that tension. That's a good thing. Tighten it down and just make it hand tight. We're not gorilla gripping it. You don't need to do that. That O-ring's already compressed and it's good, so you just tighten that down. And then you're going to take your tail cap cartridge, whether it has a remote or not, doesn't matter, and you're going to insert that. And you're going to see the slots are cut here at 90-degree intervals. So you're just going to choose which way it goes. And the most important thing here on the install is to make sure that you actually seat this against an internal O-ring. So what most people don't know and what they don't see, when you look in there, you're going to see an O-ring that's actually been installed inside the tail cap body. And it covers the inside diameter of that, and so it compresses against the outside diameter of our tail cap cartridge. So to get that proper seal and to make it waterproof, you're going to click it, and you'll hear it and you'll feel it. All right? And then at that point, you're going to take your tail cap ring, and you're simply going to put that on. And when you do, you're going to notice that it's going to push on that tail cap cartridge, which is going to do 2 things. One, it's going to further ensure that that tail cap cartridge is locked against that O-ring, and then you're also going to make sure that that tail cap cartridge is pushing up against the light body, which is creating electrical conductivity, so that's making your light work. So you're just going to tighten that down until it's hand tight, and then at that point you've done a proper installation. You're waterproof, you're functional, and you're good to go. So we got your light set up, we've got the basic tail cap installation done, and we've covered the nomenclature and taught you about the tail cap. So the next thing we have to do is get this thing on a gun, right? So what we're going to do here is I'll get the rifle back into the picture. And when we start to talk about this, we have to talk about positioning of the light, whether or not you run a remote switch, what mount you're using. So there's a lot that goes in here, and we're going to cover a lot of this stuff. My goal here right now is to talk about a few tips and tricks with regards to how to actually go about mounting this and to make the system work for you in the best manner possible. So what we've got here is a complete REIN kit and a remote, and then this is the standard kit. So again, the complete kit has the remote switch and the cable, and the standard kit does not. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of plug and play here just to explain how this works. So we're going to take the tail cap ring off. We're going to take the tail cap cartridge out of the standard kit. And then I'm literally just going to swap this over and turn this one into a complete kit. So, just like that. Now, when this is mounted to a gun, the first thing we're going to do here, if you're setting up a remote switch, is you need to figure out where your remote's going to be, and we're going to talk about that with regards to the actual remote installation. But one of the cool tricks here, and this is something people just haven't seen a lot of yet, is when it comes to actually deciding how this is oriented to optimize your cable, what we have to do is we have to figure out exactly where you want that cable to exit relative to the rail, right? So with this, you're going to tighten your tail cap down, like I said, on the install procedure, right? You're going to tighten your tail cap body down, and you're going to feel resistance there, and it's going to get tight. Now, if you look at the 4 slots, you're going to want to choose the slot that's exiting towards the Picatinny rail, generally speaking, in the most direct line. Now, based on the mount and some other variables, you may have to adjust it a little bit. Once that's tight, you're not going to feel like you can adjust it. One really cool trick is you can actually take a tool. I just use this hex driver, and you can actually use it, as a breaker bar, and you can actually give yourself just a little more tension to adjust that and get it absolutely dialed in. So again, in this instance, that's absolutely appropriate, because when I go to install this, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want that cable to be exiting directly towards the rail, so that way when I go to actually mount this and hard mount this with the LCS and house all that cable is now absolutely not exposed to the world. So it can't be snagged, it can't be really compromised in any way. So it's another really cool feature of the system, is that it allows you to dial in exactly where that cable exits and then hard mount the switch. And once that's done, you're going to have a really clean package that's going to be a lot more robust and reduce your chance of failure. And with that, it's just a much better solution. Okay guys, thanks for watching. That wraps up the video on the tail cap installation. Be sure to check out the next video. It's going to be a good one. We're going to talk about the remote switch and how to install that LCS and control that cable. You're really going to want to check that one out. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click all the buttons you're supposed to click, and we will see you next time.